Coach, we have you right there. All right, welcome everybody. We're going to get started right with questions. We do have 2 microphone holders for the people watching on the stream. You won't hear yourself over the speakers or anything like that, so still project and get your questions to Coach. Questions, we'll open it right up, and we'll start right down here with Emily, and then go to Brent second. Alex, if you want to bring that mic right over.
Hey, Fran, morning.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great.
Heard that you're doing something unique this year a little bit, or at least unique for the program the past few years, and having the guys stay in dorms for fall camp. Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose to do that?
Just trying to allow us to truly become more together, as a family. I think everyone talks about family and goes through things, and camp's one of the toughest times throughout the year. Our core values are DART, being detailed, accountable, relentless, and tough. And I think that going through it with each other in the dorms, walking over, walking back, and also, man, these are memories and bonds that'll be formed that'll last a lifetime. So I just wanted to make sure that we did it and go back to the way it was old school, when guys, like when I was in college, guys was all in one dorm, different places, but we took the car keys. Nobody's allowed to drive. Nobody's allowed to do anything. It's just walk back and forth. You got to get up in enough time, be able to do things. And I think it's also going to allow our players not to have entitlement, to understanding, know that you can get where you need to get to when it's time to get there.
What was the players' reaction when you kind of told them this was going to be the situation for camp?
I was a couple of their ideals. It was a couple of older guys that I talked to, and they was just like, this is what we want to do. He was like, I heard, they said, I heard you were thinking about having us all in one room, in one dorm. And I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about it. Just got to see if it fits, to make sure that we have enough space on campus. But, of course, we're at Syracuse, and our housing, they did an amazing job to allow us to do this. So hats off to them for doing it. I mean, without them, we wouldn't be doing it right now. And because of the housing, UV and all, they're allowing us to become closer as a football team.
Who were those guys, if you don't mind sharing?
Fidel was the main one, to be honest. So Fidel was the first one. Cinco wanted us to do it, and might have been Mark. Yeah.
We'll go right to Brent next, and then Mario right after that.
Fran, from your stops along the way in college football, what works in training camp and what doesn't?
Just consistency, making sure that you don't drain the coaches. Give everyone the time. Make sure there's a little break in between where guys be able to do it. I think taking care of the players' bodies, but making them practice. You got to make them go. When it's time to go, you got to go. And then when it's time to rest, you got to give them an opportunity to rest. And you have to know their bodies, understand their bodies. And there's a difference in being injured and hurt. Everyone will be hurt today is the best they'll ever feel for the rest of camp. And then you got to understand and teach them that, so that way we can get tougher, trying to be able to attack the T in our DART. But just being able to be consistent and work extremely hard.
Mario?
Fred, on the eve of camp and in your first year, what have
Give me
you...
1 second.
Yep.
Can you tell them to stop that out there for us? That'll help us. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Sorry. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
On the eve of camp and in year one, what have you learned about yourself, and what's been your biggest challenge?
I learned that I like to listen. I listen to all the coaches. I think we have a great staff. So I asked a lot of questions. I may be the head football coach, but there's 10 other guys. There's a bunch of young guys, support staff. I learned to be a good listener. Also learned I got nervous. I like to please, even though I might be firm about the things that I want to do. I like to please, and I don't want to let the players down. I want to make sure that they feel that their work, that I'm holding them up to a standard that they need to be at, and just keep them going. So, just a little bit of nervousness. I wasn't nervous in the spring. I wasn't nervous when I got the job and things of that nature. But it was like last night to come in here and talk to them before camp. It was different. It was a different feeling. It was like, okay, let's go to work. But then afterwards, it was, I just got in front of them and I seen them, and I let them know that I was nervous, but also in the same sense, make sure they knew, yo, we here to work. We have to put Syracuse back on the map.
We'll go down in front to Dan, and then Tommy right after.
Fran, spending some time here, a few months now in Syracuse. I know you've been out in the community. I know your student athletes have been out in the community. Just what you can say about what you've learned about Syracuse and Central and Upstate New York and building those ties that go beyond football.
Good people, there's really good people. They want to see a winning program. It's a need. They're in need for a winning program. I mean, that's all they talk to me about. And they love the youth. You know, I think that all the adults here, everyone all over, it's all about the youth and being able to bring the youth up, and they want me to really recruit the area. That's important to everyone here, to keep all the talent home, Coach. Make sure we're doing that, continue to keep the talent home, and just make sure we take of our communities, take care of the community. I think everyone's about the community. Everyone wants to help, so it's pretty much what I learned. I learned that they care about each other. They want a winning program. I think they're going to tell me the truth. So if they like what they see, they're going to tell me, and if they don't, they'll tell me they don't, which is what it is. So I appreciate that.
Tommy?
Hey, Coach. Good morning.
What's up?
How you doing?
Chilling.
I saw that Fran Jr. is on St. Francis's roster again here this fall. What's it like being the father of a college athlete in this whole experience for you?
It's pretty fun. It's fun with my son. He gets to work out with me in the summertime here. I just took him to the airport this morning. He had a flight to get back. He had a 6:20 flight. We was up 4:30. We just had ride to talk. I was more sad this time than ever before, though. You know, I watched him work. He's done an amazing job just with his work ethic. He went from 19% body fat down to 11 through the summer. He's got more flexible, so that helped him become more athletic. Has a chance to start Mike. I think right now he's running with the ones. So it's fun because it's my son. So like I can't wait till those 3 games we get to go to. We got a Friday game. After that Friday game, I'm gonna see him play Saturday. We got some buys on my buy Saturdays. I'm gonna always go watch him. So I'm excited to be a parent tailgate. You know, I get a chance. I never got to do that, so it's going to be exciting for me to do it. Last year, I didn't go watch him play at all because our schedule didn't match up, but this year it kind of matches up a few weeks, so I get to watch him play. But it's fun. It's him calling me. He gets different responses than parents probably give him, though, because he'll call me about that. You know, this happened at practice. What do you think of this? I just give him, hey, shut up and work. Hey, well, Dad, I know that, but what do you feel? Yo, just shut up and work. At the end of the day, if you keep working, everything you want to come out. You know, I always tell them the cream rises. You know what I mean? So just stay focused, and everything will work itself out. And it's doing it for him.
Jesse?
Coach, good morning. Good to see you. We got a glimpse of the team in the spring, but now that you have your full roster coming into camp, how excited are you to build off of the foundation that you set for yourself in the spring here in the fall?
I'm really excited. I'm excited for the players. You know, I'm excited for the players. I'm excited for our fan base. I'm excited for the students, the faculty. You know, I'm excited for everyone. We get the opportunity to go out and play soon. But just for us to continue to get better, like camp is different. You know, I told guys before, camp isn't like it was a long time ago. People went to camp to get in shape. You know, we're coming to camp to fine-tune and become closer. We're coming to camp to get tougher, to make sure that we're going to be able to run the ball and stop the run. I'm extremely happy. I think we have a leader at quarterback. Happy to keep him safe and let's be able to protect him. So our offensive line to continue to take a few more steps, which we need for us to be the football team we need to be. For the corners on our team to make sure that they become more detailed, which we need for us to help us win. And just for our special teams to go out there and compete at a high level. I think we were overall 8th last year when it came to special teams, so that's something that's on our radar. You know, we went back and seen different places where we were ranked in the conference. So being 8th on special teams is not, you know, it's not acceptable for us. So we're just busting our butt in those areas.
Right in front of Christian.
Fran, good morning. How have you seen the team dynamic evolve with new leaders and old leaders kind of joining into this team, along with your coaching staff also leading this team?
It's going pretty well. You know, our core values, everything we do is going to always go back to the core values, you know, and then the guys that are the leaders, committed, care, and trust. You know, you can tell they're committed because of their actions. You can see that they care, their actions, and then we trust them. We trust that they do what they're supposed to do on a daily basis. But it's all back to Dart, you know, just being detailed, accountable, relentless, and tough in all aspects. You know, not just at football practice or just in the weight room in the community when they're doing community service. Like, you can take an entire team to community service, right? And a lot of guys don't get anything from it because they can't wait until it's over. But when you take an entire team to community service and you see them work their balls off and they're competing to do those things, like, to me, that's, you know, that's important. And you've seen a lot of our leaders doing that on a regular basis. So I'm extremely excited about where we are. I feel like they've all gelled together. You got Fidel hanging with Marlo all the time. You got LaQuint and Cinco, who they've all been here together, but all these different guys, everybody looks at Kyle McCord as our leader. Like, that's hand down on the entire football team. We know, like, who leads the team. You're going to ask them. Kyle McCord is our leader. then you'll have another guy on offense, guy on defense, you know. So it's a pleasure to watch it. I'm excited to watch it. I just want to see our culture be a little bit more ingrained in the guys and the way they live. Mainly a lot of the freshmen. The older guys, it's a lot on the line, you know. Their careers here, want to play in the National Football League, so they tend to do a lot. A lot of it, I think, comes from the guys in the back of the room that are freshmen that were superstars that won't be those guys. So that leadership, because some of those guys are leaders. Are they going to be mature enough to help us fast enough? Can they listen to the older guys, what they say, or are they going to have too much pride, you know?
We're going to stay right in the front and go Emily and then Dan again.
Are there any guys that we won't see out there tomorrow just because they're still coming back from injuries or anything like that?
No, not really. No, I don't think so. Because everybody, even if they were a little injured before, they get a certain amount of plays, reps. We'll have them on a rep count. So we should be fine with all that kind of stuff like that. You may see, and I'll just put it out there now, he probably won't go at it. King Joseph won't practice tomorrow or the day afterwards. You know, he has a couple days where he has to do some things worse, so he has a little issue that we have in-house. Nothing major, nothing that would cause him to be in any trouble outside of it, but he has some things in-house that he didn't handle the right way. So he won't be at practice for a few days, but outside of that, everyone else will.
David Woolaba, I know a couple weeks ago, had just been working his way back in. Is he doing well now?
He's on a rep count. He's doing a good job. Yeah, he's on a rep count.
Dan?
Coach, when you talk about Dart, and you mentioned that repeatedly, kind of driving that home, as far as building the culture and the environment, what are some of the foundational pillars that you think have been built through the spring that we're already going to be able to build on in the fall as you head into practice?
I mean, we like to say our foundation and like who we are outside of that, just our faith. You know, and like that's first and foremost with everything. Like that's our true foundation with everything we have, our faith. But then from there, our offensive line, we started to really, you know, get a lot tougher. They started to work more. So like our O-line, we got some leaders on the offensive line now. We've been able to add Savion Washington to the offensive line. He's 6'8", 340, you know what I mean, and he's athletic, he can run. So we've been able to add him. I think Tank Wilson, Dion, sorry, I call him Tank, but Dion has become more of a leader. He's like strong for us. You know, our offense and defensive line are truly our foundation. That's the bell cow. But we also did something called skull sessions all summer. You know, every Wednesday we would get together. There were different topics we talk about, and we would put that into our lives. So like that should be another foundation piece that we'll be able to fall back on. Guys, remember what we talked about, imagination. You imagine what you want. Then it was self-value. After self-value, we had standard, and then there was discipline. You know, and once you're able to do those things, you form a team. So we just go back to those, imagination, what was it that you want? You imagine, and make sure we paid attention to that. So like we just went through that, imagination, self-value, a standard, discipline, and then now we're a football team, and we just got to continue to be strong as a team.
Mario?
Kind of twofold here, Coach. What's the biggest challenge this team faces coming into camp and why? And what do you think the biggest challenge for a coaching staff is coming into camp?
I think just adversity, we haven't had any, you know, so we're going to have to put them in chaotic situations in practice. We have to be down. We have to figure out what it's going to be like for our offense to practice being down, you know, to come out and, guys, we're down 14-0. How are we going to respond? How are we going to play to that? From a defensive standpoint, are you going to trust each other? We haven't went through anything that was, oh, it's dreadful and it's going to hurt us that day. So we have to put them in those situations. And then I want to see what the coach is going to do, like, you know, but good thing is I've been with Coach Nixon. You know, we were at Baylor before. We've coached together. Been with Coach Robinson at Temple and also at Baylor where we coached together. So I know the type of men they are, and I know they don't get rattled. They'll just be able to keep looking forward. Next play. Let's lock in, move to the next play, move to the next play. At the end of the day, we have to make sure that we're coaching well enough for when times get rough, our players are going to be able to fall back on their training. And you know, that's what it comes down to. Like, we got something going on. We don't need dumb penalties. We can't beat ourselves. You know, so seeing if we won't beat ourselves when we're down, how we're going to respond to that. You know, adversity hasn't completely hit us yet, or it could hurt us. So, you know, I try to put us in those situations, and I'm going to try to make them feel as if, no, this is as real as it possibly can get. But the way we practice, I'm hoping that we practice harder than the game. You know, and that's the goal, to make sure that we practice harder than the game, so when the game comes, it'll be simple.
Right in front, Brian.
Fran, a few of the names you mentioned that have established themselves as leaders are new faces around here. How do new guys establish leadership, especially in this day and age of college football when you have an influx of transfers?
Because the old guys that were leaders allowed them to come in and they worked together. Like Justin Barron, Marlo Wax, LaQuint Allen, Cinco, Aronde Gaddison. Those guys accepted those other guys in, and they all got together, and it was, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Hey, what were we missing here? Why was this? What was that? And that's just kind of how it went. You know, the leaders, they started to do things so they can understand it. And we just talk about, you know, why do we lose? You know, like, what's the reason we lose? And then we go over different things and scenarios. Like, I told the guys, and I said it again to them yesterday, like, Syracuse is a great school. It's been a great program. It's a great tradition. You don't lose because of the S. You lose because of the people. Are we detailed? Are we accountable? Are we doing all the things that's needed to be done on a regular basis for us to win? And not just winning in football, also in the classroom. Are you winning in the community? Like, once you're a full man and you're ready to do all the things that it takes to be a man, football is really simple. So we got things like, if you come to a meeting late, we're going to be able to count on you on the football field? No. Like, if you start to look at all those things, if everybody on the team is out every night and they're tired and they're coming to practice tired, you're not going to win. So once you start to do all the things that are important, and they told us what was important, and they got together with those guys, and they started to eliminate all those distractions. Not saying that we don't have any distractions at all, but they're very, very minimal now. You know, it's to a small number, and those guys work together to get it done, because sometimes it's hard. Everybody's not a vocal leader. So we picked out who the vocal leaders are, then you got who are the leaders by example, and then they all kind of just fall in line with each other, you know? But ultimately, we all follow Kyle, and then the rest of the guys, everybody falls into their part where they're needed to talk. Some kids don't take you telling them. Some kids just take you showing them and treating them like a little brother. Some kids need to hear it from the coaching staff, because we won't be a good football team if it's coach-led. It has to be player-led for us to be who we want to be.
Jesse?
Coach, I know you touched on it a little bit in your press conference here, your introductory press conference, but what was it like growing up in Camden, and how did you use football as a tool to shape the man that you are today?
Just followed a lot of coaches. You know, I had a lot of good coaches from Little League all the way through high school. Coach Tripp, Mark Pease, the guys that coached me, I think they were good men, you know. And I've always been able to identify who had a pure heart and who doesn't, you know, and I've been able to do that. So that's helped me be able to follow what's needed to follow, because ultimately I'm a man of faith first, and then I'm a father and I'm a husband. So being able to do that, that was important to me to see that, because I didn't have that, didn't understand that. So when I saw it, it was something that I was attracted to. You know, I wanted it bad. So it just helped. I mean, there's two things you could do. Okay, you want to go this way or you go that way, you know. And I try to look at all the guys that tried to do it the sneaky route and do it. They end up in jail, some dead, you know, different things. And I watch the guys that done it the right way, and they got families, they got education, they got degrees, they're doing things with their life. So I figured I'd just go that way, you know. I'm not meant for jail, so I'll just stay focused on the other side.
Jake, if you want to come down and get Dan right here. We'll take a couple more after that.
Fran, we're just a few weeks from you being a head coach for the first time ever on the field. Just what you can say about, you talk a lot about faith and that journey that you've had. When that moment comes to fruition and you're standing there on the sideline and you're finally a head coach of a program, just what's been going through you getting ready for that moment, being excited for your love for the game of football and appreciation for the journey?
I try not to really go into that moment. I just try to play it every day and just be where I'm at, my feet are. I'll just be excited for the team. You know, I'm looking to make sure we can win by 1 point. We walk away with the W. I don't know, I don't really kind of never do anything for me. You know, it's more so for my family, my children, my last name. But I don't know, I don't really celebrate for me. You know, I celebrate for the people I'm around. I think that when you always doing things for others and things that are about other people and seeing them happy, you know, you get to be a part of it. It makes it bigger. Because now if me, you, her, everybody remembers that time we got to do it together, I just remember how you felt. I remember those things. Those are memories I'll never leave. But I'll be happy for my wife and kids, you know, them getting a chance to do it, I guess. Something different, but I got personal goals that I want. That's just not one that I thought about of like the first game. That's about the players. That's about the S. For me, that's for the alumni, so they get a chance to be excited on that Saturday night. And everything we do here is about the S. So, you know, anything that I do, I just want to make sure that I give the S the opportunity of just being able to be where it belongs. You know, the other night, I was like literally, I came back up here and I went around those 3 statues and just reading the side of it and just going through it and just like super thankful though. Like, so I'm very, very thankful that I'm the head coach here. It means a lot. And to read Ernie Davis, which I read a lot of times, and Jim Brown and Floyd Little, and just to see those, it was, I don't know, it always gives you like different chill. You know, like God chose me to do it. So I think that I have to do it the right way, you know. And I'm still learning. You know, I got a really good athletic director that I'm gonna ask him a lot of questions before. I'm gonna go ask Herm different questions, you know, like where should I be at, what should I do? But I'm gonna lean on the guys that been there before and they've been with other guys that were first-time head coaches. So, you know, I'll probably go lean with the athletic directors so they can just focus, do this. This is why we hired you, you know, things of that nature. I'm hoping. Hopefully I don't be all nervous and start crying and stuff like that. So I don't think I will. I think I'm pretty tough, but be straight. Good question, though.
Last 2, we'll go to Emily first. Last one right there.
You mentioned Savion Washington, talking about the O-line. Besides his obvious size, like what kind of stuck out about him that made you want to pursue him in the transfer portal?
Well, the size. First off, couldn't pass it. But when you watch him on film, he did a good job. You know, you've seen him just take every snap. You go through everyone. And some of the plays he got beat, I looked at it as different things to it. You know, there were certain things that I don't want to say, but there was things that happened. And then there was a confidence piece too. You know, it's like trust. You know what I mean? Do you trust what you're doing? You know, do you have complete trust in it? You know, I always look at that. But I was just happy about his athleticism and his size. I mean, sometimes to say like completely with like all of that, like I respect Coach Sanders a lot, like Deion Sanders, a mentor. Like I talk to him now, so I don't want to say anything that could be disrespectful towards his previous offensive coordinator and things like that. So I just love his size and I love his athleticism when he runs. But you know, I got too much respect for Deion to talk about what that kid, what I've seen from him as a football player, to be honest with you.
And last question to Mario.
Fran, you talked about the leaders that you had with Kyle, Justin Barrel, and Marlo Wax, but a guy you got coming back is Rondé Gadsden.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of hype around Rondé. What's the message or talk that you had with him coming into camp?
Just keep doing what you've been doing. He works really, really hard. Like, he works hard. I got a chance to coach on the staff where Brock Bowers was at, and we talk about like Brock Bowers and his work ethic and what he done. And I said, like, this was the hardest working man I've ever seen in my life. Go mimic that. If you go do that, then you'll be fine. Just work extremely hard. He loves football, though. He's a gym rat. Like, he's always here. He's a leader also. He just don't speak. He kind of does it, and he'll go talk to you individually, things like that on the side. But you're just happy to have him, man. This kid's 6'4". He's 245 pounds now because he keep gaining weight. He runs well. We can't stop him. I mean, guys, that's why we got his surgery done early. Like, everybody thought something happened in spring. We got after the second practice, we couldn't stop him. I ended up putting something in. We went and doubled him, and he kept catching the ball. And I came in the staff meeting, and I said, guys, we're getting his surgery next week because he'll be able to come back early. That way he had the whole June to work out, July. We didn't shorten his summer. So I was like, no, we're getting his surgery done now. Let's get it's like a screw that he had to get taken out. So I was like, let's get this now. What are we waiting for? You know, he's a willing blocker. You know, he likes to block. That's the one piece that everybody says. Kenny blocks, and he's been busting his butt to get better at that. But I mean, and he's a great kid though. Like, I think his mom and dad did a really good job of just, you know, raising him with all the right morals and values. You know, he's a real good kid. He has great character. Man, I'm so thankful he's on our football team. Like, he's a weapon himself, you know, so I'm extremely thankful to have him here.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.